Sewage spills in Baldwin County. In fact, one sewage line is still overflowing right now into Rock Creek in Robertsdale. That's where we find Fox 10 News Baldwin County reporter Katie Weiss. Now, Katie, not a good situation out there tonight, right?
Yeah, that's right, Bob. You can see this water here flowing behind me. That's sewage flowing into Rock Creek right now as we speak. Now, I spoke with some residents who live nearby earlier today, and they say they're fed up with this sewage.
I was telling my daughter, I said, well, it's no longer Rock Creek. We know what it's called now. It has a new name, and you can just guess what it is.
Lorna Jansen has lived near Rock Creek for some 30 years. She says it happens nearly every time there's a heavy rainfall.
It's just awful. And it doesn't have to be a rain as much as it was yesterday. It can be 2 inches of rain.
A spokesperson for the Baldwin County Health Department says residents living in those sensitive areas around Robertsdale should be used to this by now and should be aware of the precautions necessary.
It does seem to be the same couple of sites over and over again, which in one sense is good because the people around there are, this shouldn't be big news to them. They could almost anticipate this with the rainfall we had.
Baldwin County health officials say that sewage spilled out of a manhole into Silver Creek. Now, Silver Creek actually begins just beyond these trees. So this water that you see standing here is what's left over from the sewage spill. The Baldwin County Health Department reminds folks who may use these waterways to be careful. If you come into contact, wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Do not swim in a creek that's been affected. Do not fish in the creek that's been affected. And if you do, cook the fish thoroughly. Health officials say with a large amount of rainfall, the spill in any area around the city is not surprising.
But we're not surprised with the extraordinarily heavy rains. I heard estimates of somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 inches localized areas on the eastern shore, and it obviously overwhelmed the system, and this is what we get.
And talk about a stinky situation. Now, the sewage that is flowing into Rock Creek, health officials speculate it's about some 1 million gallons of sewage. That's the equivalent to some 33 train cars full of sewage being dumped into Rock Creek. Pretty big numbers there. Now, coming up in about 30 minutes, I'm going to tell you what the mayor of Robertsdale has to say about how he's fixing these issues here in the city. For now, reporting live in Robertsdale, I'm Katie Weiss for Fox 10 News.
Our part of the Gulf Coast is used